Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Do I wake or do I dream? It is Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan.
I fear it's a bad dream, Maharaj, if it's a dream.
Ice cream. Oh, yes. Seeing you is like eating ice cream.
Oh dear.
Your assistant, Keshavananda Prabhu.
Jai Keshavananda Prabhu ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaja ki jai. Jai all the assembled devotees ki jai.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Are we ready? Oh, we're ready. So Maharaj, we're ready to begin.
Well, Maharaj, should we just give a very mini invocation?
Yes.
So we can, to Guru, to Mahaprabhu, to the devotees, Panchatattva and Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjana
Salakaya
Chakshu Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurate Namaha. Vancha Kaupatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Maharaj, seeing as we are digital, I think we can consider we've been walking for maybe 12 days from Navadip to come to Jagannath Puri, because we are Navadip Basis at heart. So we are coming, we've come down from from Navadip, and now coming towards Jagannath Puri. The first thing that we shall see will be the very top of the dome of Lord Jagannath's temple, and the beautiful, eternally beautiful flags flying there at the top of the temple. So Maharaj, maybe you are heading the party. 500 years ago it would be Shivananda Sen heading the party, but you are heading our walk, our pilgrimage to Jagannath Puri. So Maharaj, perhaps you'd like to say something at this juncture as we see the flag, the dome from a distance, and give our obeisances.
Yes, I recall actually being on this pilgrimage with Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, Srila Abhijit Maharaj, and most recently Paramananda Prabhu, Madhusudan Maharaj, and Kesavananda Prabhu were going, and we were here, and I would get reports, and it would cause me to recollect certain things and discover new things too. And I'd been reading something that surprised me in the Chaitanya Bhagavat about Mahaprabhu's approach, because we know that after Mahaprabhu takes sannyas, his heart is running to Vrindavan. That's the appropriate response. He's giving up everything and cannot be, this isn't something that he's forcing himself to do. He's been trying to maintain his composure not to do this, if we can understand that. So now that opportunity is there. He's taken sannyas. He can hardly wait. We're told, Kahan Krishna Prananath Murali Vadan Kahan 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 Rajendra Nandan. He just searched for Sri Krishna. Reality is beautiful. Running. You mentioned 12 days. Das Goswami ran from Bengal to Puri in 12 days. We're told every 3 days or so he ate something, drank some milk, got something from some muri, he ran like a madman to join Mahaprabhu there. But Mahaprabhu himself running like a madman to Vrindavan. That's his idea. Right? And we're told that Guru said, in a childlike state of divine ecstasy, he's running in every which direction. Right? And we know meeting Nityananda plays the trick on him with the cowherd boys, and then Advaita shows up. They take him to Shantipur. And Mother Sachi can come, and that beautiful, and Advaita with his Mathura Biraha Kirtan. Where like Radharani, Advaita, Acharya's voicing these things. It's like, I got you at last. You tried to escape, and now, and Advaita's happily dancing, and it's mentioned, it's one of the songs of Vidyapati or Chandidas with Mathura Bab, what Radharani feels when Krishna goes to Vrindavan, which will be really is the subject matter of all of this. And it's the subject matter of Krishna consciousness. This isn't some peripheral interest to us. Just, oh, this time a year, this comes on the calendar. It's very colorful and wonderful, and it is, all these things. But it's central to the pursuit of Krishna consciousness, and as infused into this world by Sri Chaitanya Dev himself. Now we have to remember, this is Mahaprabhu's central pastime with his devotees. Myself included, for so long, I would think like, I really liked it. Where I joined was New Jagannatha Puri. We had Rath Yatra, and it was all fine. But we thought, all right, this is one of so many pastimes. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Jai Shri Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaja ki Jai.
When we were waiting for when we were waiting for Prabhupada to come at the airport, we didn't know how, not that we really do now. Madhusudan Maharaj knows how to receive guests and how to send them off properly, but we didn't know. And there's like 200 of us. Most of us had never seen Prabhupada in our lives. We're reading his books, living in the temple, anticipating. He's coming for Rath Yatra, 1971, San Francisco. And he's flying up from LA on, 1 hour flight. So the devotees, as they do, how shall we receive him? So we look in the book. Oh, here's a chapter in the Krishna book. Krishna enters Dwaraka. Let's do that. Simple-hearted devotees. So everyone's waiting. Then Prabhupada comes out, and instead of like Hare Krishna or Hari Bol, everyone starts screaming, just screaming hysterically at the top of their lungs and falling on the ground and crying and screaming. That's how we received him. Then some people like to try and make a kirtan, and then they have an umbrella, and because we read in the Krishna book, so there were devotees with bowls of like silver bowls of yogurt, and they're throwing yogurt on the floor, and then others are throwing rose petals. So Prabhupada's carefully walking through the yogurt and the rose petals, trying not to slip. Then afterwards, devotees come running and like dive, like that slide when they do in the footballers after they score a goal, on their knees, they slide. So there are devotees sliding, and there are these, how do you say, other patrons of the airport watching this. then they see not only the devotees slide in the yogurt and the rose petals, but then they start eating it off the floor. They're going like, madly, and they're still screaming and yelling. So, and Prabhupada just walking along with smiling. So if that kind of madness was there and that kind of event, who can understand what these events were like among these exalted personalities in the presence of, as we said, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar Pandit, and Srivas Thakur, and Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakti, all of these great devotees, when they get together and collectively lose their minds in Nam Sankirtan, Prasadam Seva, singing songs so beautiful, such beautiful melodies from their hearts. And but that Mahaprabhu, when he's trying to run to Vrindavan, but he's running in every direction, which is also hopeful for us. Because in what, like we hear, Yatai Vaishnavagan, say Stan Vrindavan. Wherever the Vaishnavas are gathered, that place is Vrindavan. So that he's running here or there and saying, in one sense, it's not in any particular direction. It has to do with a particular celebration of heart, right? Radha, Padman Kitadam, Vrindavan Jaranam. Vrindavan proper is that soil that is embellished with the holy lotus footprints of Srimati Radharani, which her heart, Krishna consciousness, so powerful, she converted Krishna, and he's descended in this world to experience her Krishna consciousness, Radha Bhavadyuti Subalita, and made her Gaurangi, her Bhav Kanti, her heart's radiance, why Radharani is golden, turned Gauranga, Shama Sundar Krishna into Gauranga Sundar Mahaprabhu. So he's running to Vrindavan, but the pull of the devotees, he cannot escape. And we're told in the Chaitanya Bhagavat that, and it happened before. Remember when he was still Nimai Pandit and he went to Gaya, and then he wanted to run to Vrindavan, and we're told a voice came out of the sky and said, do not go to Vrindavan now. You will go later. Return to Navadvip. Like Krishna has to arrange for divine voices because he's so lost in divine madness through Yoga Maya and all of his Leela Shaktis. They're doing these things. So he was told, you'll go in the future. Now here's that time. Oh, now I'm running in Vrindavan. And then no, the inspiration comes to him that, don't you know, Krishna, he's in, Puri. That Krishna Vrindavan, as Krishna went from Vrindavan to Dwaraka. So now he's being told, the Krishna, the Lord of your heart, who you're mad for. Like, remember when he asked Gadadhar, where is the Lord of my, where is my Krishna? He goes, Gadadhar, very sweetly, he's in your heart. And he starts tearing his chest. And Gadadhar, no, not like that. Right? So he's saying that Lord who you can't live for a moment without is in Puri, Jagannath Puri. And so therefore Mahaprabhu is going there. And we know it, Nityananda Prabhu and others. And we know along the way, Nityananda Prabhu breaks his danda. And the mystery behind that, why? Because one thing, it's an ekadanda. So you could say Nityananda turned it into a tree danda. and just many other things. But and it gives an excuse for Mahaprabhu to say, you're all a bunch of madmen. I'm going to go by myself. So here's the deal. You go before me and I follow you, or I go first and you follow me. Which do you think the devotees choose? That he'll go first and they'll follow, because otherwise, who knows? If they go where he will go in his divine manner. And he's saying, you're all a bunch of madmen, especially Nitai. And who can argue with that? Certainly not Nityananda. Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatar. So he's there to facilitate these pastimes, actually. So then Mahaprabhu's going, and we'll mention later, but we know he does stop. First stop is Ramuna, Gopinath. Right, and that brings in Madhavendra Puri and Gopal. So in other words, these are not just random anecdotes, but there's a connecting thread, theme. Right, he's going to madly search for Krishna. Where's the first place he goes? Where Madhavendra Puri does what? On his, he's the person who we hear later on his disappearance bed says, Ai dina dayadranatahe maturanatha kadava lakshase. He's expressing the same thing. Matura bhav that we just heard in the Dvaita Viraha, Matura Viraha. At Advaita's hint, indication. Now, Madhavendra Puri. And what is the inner purpose of Mahaprabhu's descent? What's coming out of the heart of Madhavendra Puri, which we're told was originally spoken from by Srimati Radharani. In other words, it's from her heart, expressing the depths of separation from Krishna. Why is this important? Because the smaranam, or the culture of the union of Radha and Krishna, in the words of Guru Maharaj quoting Saraswati Thakur, is injurious for neophytes, right? Dhira, that line, the last line of that, pratilabdya vikridam bhajaviduvedam chivishnu swadanvato anustanaya dattabanaya bhakti param bhagavati pratilabdikam hridrogam ashru appa hinoti achirena dhira, because we're suffering from hridrogam, heart disease. We can't meditate on the intimate, confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna, although that is the central conception of the ultimate reality. Right? But what is safe is separation. Right? And although that's what has attracted Krishna himself, and that becomes the method and the current of distribution. So the heart of Mahaprabhu's pastimes is about experiencing Krishna viraha, separation. And as his inconceivable Mahavadanaya avataric mercy would be, that would be the pathway to bring the most fallen souls upward into that divine current. How perfect is that? Right? Like, he knows what he's doing. It's another way, a simple way to put it. I'm saying, so, does Mahaprabhu now know how to bring people into that plane? He's saying, so the very thing that I value and I want to culture, that you'll be able to do. And that will enable you later for this other type of culture. How perfect. So it's hidden in plain sight, as we will hear when he sings in front of the Rath Yatra. So there at Gopinath, that's where the whole tale of Madhavendra Puri is about what? To bring you to the point of understanding the rubbing of the sandalwood by the repeated consideration of the Krishna viraha expressed in this sloka it'll take you to that domain, is another way of putting it. And there, Mahaprabhu, relishing the kheer, the bhog of Gopinath, which we can say, that's already offered, but no, he's Radha Baba, now he's like Radharani. What do we hear in the song about Yashoda Agyapeye Danishta Anito? Then Yashoda takes everything, Krishna, all his remnants, and gives them to Danishta, and then she brings them to Radharani. Imagine, Radharani and her Lalita Vishaka Rupa, then they all have prasad. So Mahaprabhu, what is he doing? He wants that taste. He already knows, like we hear as Jagannath, what, how many offerings a day? 56? That's why Advaita's logic. He's saying, what do you mean this is too much? You eat 56 times a day in Jagannatha Puri. This is a palmful. Shows the Maha Vishnu avatar has a sense of humor, divine sense of humor. But Mahaprabhu said at Gopinath, no, the way Radharani tastes, the way she experiences Krishna Adaramritam, I want that experience. But then, so it's interesting. And this madness to go to Vrindavan, to be with Krishna, it's acceptable to stop at Ramona and have Gopinath's kheer. But anyway, so then Mahaprabhu going, and then they make that arrangement. I'll go first, the other devotees will come later. Then we thought, when he sees the chakra atop the Jagannath temple, and that various descriptions from Charitamritam Chaitanya Bhagavat, like saying his body crashing to the ground 100 times an hour. How is that even possible? Right. Ganga-like streams of tears pouring from his eyes, his body shivering in divine ecstasy. He's seeing the chakra, the dome. What will happen when he has the darshan of Jagannath or Krishna? Right. But that chakra, we're told, mysteriously there, he says, oh, Bal Gopal looking at me. Like I remember when the Skype, this is long before Zoom, children, there was something called Skype. So, and Gurudev was like Skyping with Lakta, St. Petersburg. And he kept saying, he would go to me, Maharaj, he'd say, they looking me. Because he could see them, but he goes, they looking me. There he is. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. May we be ever forever bathed in the glance of his divine grace, as the waves of his love and affection. But so that simple, beautiful, childlike thing, Mahaprabhu was saying, Bal Gopal looking at me. I'm looking at the chakra and Bal Gopal looking at me. But anyway, he's proceeding there. And we know that after his arrival, when he gets close, he's seeing Jagannath. Now not go Bal Gopal, he's saying, Yang Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam, and fainted and rescued by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. But I like to say on a personal note that, like, so in 1974, when it was now time for me to leave India, and I'd served for the year there in Kolkata, Mayapur, Navadip, and been to Vrindavan. And I thought, Jagannath Puri, before, if I could complete, like have these three, and I went to, and the senior devotees said, there were certain things they told you when you came to India, you know, like these things will save your life. You know, one of them was never ride third class unreserved on a train. Yeah. Like, Haribol, yes sir. But so it's time to go to Jagannatha Puri. The only thing available is third class unreserved. And I hear the devotee, like a whole group of mine going, no, don't, don't do that. Don't you remember we told you on day one, never go third class unreserved. And I'm thinking, but there's no other way to do this. There's no other tickets, and I have to leave India soon. So I go down to Howard Station, and right before I get on the train, I see this angelic figure, this beautiful sannyasi, everything perfectly matched, and handsome. And it was Srila Bhakti Dvaita Madhav Maharaj. We're told when they were considering after Banmars who would go, he was suggested. And then someone said, oh, the ladies of England are like apsaras. And they will be mad after, you know, Madhav Maharaj is very handsome. Right? And of course, Madhusudan Maharaj can attribute to the fact that the ladies of England are like apsaras. But anyway, so they said not Madhava Maharaj. And then it was Guru Maharaj. And then Guru Maharaj saying, no, I two faults. One is I'm a recluse, you know, I'm always by myself, internal, and I can't follow their intonation. Although by hearing from Guru Maharaj, my use of the English language and vocabulary has improved, but Madhusudan Maharaj can attest to the fact Guru Maharaj not always can follow everybody who's speaking English. He gets used to your voice, my voice, Madhusudan Maharaj's voice, of others. So Guru Maharaj said, if you insist, I'll go. And some devotees were saying to Guru Maharaj, don't you want to be the one? You know, whoever accepts this seva, they'll get some renown as the one, you know, who took Krishna consciousness to the Western world. And classic Guru Maharaj, he said, I have no such interest. I am a humble, aspiring servant of Mahaprabhu. You know. And then someone, he was telling that to, he said, yes, Maharaj, I know. He said, but do you know why Prabhupada wanted you to go, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur? He said, why? He said, because he can't be converted. And Guru Maharaj said, that is true. And then they decided on Goswami Maharaj. There was a householder and a Prakrita Prabhu, so many other things. But why was I saying this? Oh, Madhava Maharaj, so how handsome he was. So when we're in Howard Station, I gave Shastanga Dandavats, Jai, Srila Bhakti Dvaita Madhava Maharaj. And he was very happy to see me. You know, I came over and he said, and I told him I'm going, and he's also going to Puri. But he was heading towards like the first class part of the train. And he says, he just kind of shook his head, you know. So he went that way, I went this way, but I thought, oh, I have the blessings of Madhava Maharaj, you know, so. And then I got on that train, and without going into details, I can say that all the different stages of life that one could experience, if you were born, gave birth, and then went through all the different stages, grew up, and then got older, diseased, and died. All of that was going on in my car simultaneously. But then arriving there in Puri, I, like so many devotees, was bewildered by the fact that we're not allowed to enter the temple. And this is the cause of perplexity, because it says in the ancient scriptures that like, and I'm paraphrasing, but it says along these lines, like, the savior of the world will appear in the east, in Purushottam Kshetra, Nilachala. It's most often called Nilachala, which means the blue mountain, and Purushottam, Purushottama Kshetra. And so it's saying, so the Lord who will save the whole world with his mercy will appear there. So it's taken that means Jagannath, and his mercy means Jagannath Prasad. And we know elsewhere, where is it in that, what's the other book? Narhari Thakur, Chaitanya Mangal, about Shiva and Jagannath Prasad, these pastimes. How, and Parvati, how greedy they are to get the Jagannath Prasad. So it's taken that way. The Savior will appear in the east, and mercifully, through this merciful distribution, save the world. Interestingly, Sri Gaudiya Math, they apply that to the appearance of Srila Saraswati Thakur, who appears where? In Jagannath Puri, and then by his merciful dispensation of Sri Gaudiya Math and its subsequent branches, which include ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math, that the whole world will be saved. So there are different, Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Jai. So there, and as Guru Maharaj might say, all of these things may be true. It's not that one cancels the other, but still, so we would think like, with all of this, that we're not allowed, it's hard to get our heads around it. And the temple I joined in San Francisco, as I mentioned, it was called New Jagannath Puri, had Jagannath deities, Jagannath Rath Yatra, and now we're in the original and told, you can't enter there. Right. Hare Krishna. So, we're told when you visit a holy place, you should not go by yourself. You should always, like Satyabhama of Dwarka, who in Chaitanya Leela's Jagadananda Pandit, was told by Mahaprabhu, when you go to Vrindavan, always be under the care of Sanatana Goswami Prabhu. Jagadananda Pandit, who wrote the Prema Vibharta, Mahaprabhu was saying, stay always under the care of Sanatana Goswami, and the local people, don't mix with them. So here I was, AWOL, absent without leave, on my own, like, how old was I? 22 years old. Bound for mischief, right? So I'm there, and in my mind, I'm thinking, well, because I keep walking around the temple, and I see there's 4 different gates, the Singadwar, the eastern, southern, western, northern, and I'm thinking like, well, they say you're not supposed to go into the temple, but I mean, that doesn't mean like these gates and the outer temples. It just means like the main temple. This is the Mayak voice I hear inside my head is telling me these things. So I decide on the southern gate. So I'm just like give some dandavats. I casually walk through, and within, I don't know if it's like 3 seconds or 5 seconds, some of the barefoot policemen, because the police there also don't wear shoes, the barefoot policemen with their lathis, they come, and they don't say like, oh, Prabhu, so, no, you cannot, not like that. Without saying a word, they come and they grab me and pick me up and throw me into the gutter. Not just out the gate, but into a gutter. And for those, and for those who've been to India, I'm talking about an Indian gutter, right? the sewage, the this, the that, like that type of gutter. Not like a nice gutter they have like in LA. You know, so I have all this foul substances all over me. Huh? And I'm thinking, this is not going well. You know? I mean, like, I'm in trouble and I need help. I need the shelter of like a higher Vaishnava. I'm like, really, and I'm feeling humiliated. And all those, like Dostoevsky said, humiliation is the most intense form of consciousness, of self-awareness. So I was extremely self-aware at this moment. And then got, you know, cleaned myself as best I could without going back to where I was staying to bathe. Got on a rickshaw, and then as I'm sort of the end of the day, and then there's Madhava Maharaj going to the Purushottam Gaudiya Math. And he can see I'm in trouble. And he says, come, and it takes me over, and we go in this Tulsi garden. And I'm whining to him. He remembers, like, we saw each other in Howrah, and now look what I've become. Not that I was that great in Howrah, but I've descended. It's gotten worse since then. And I'm whining to him. I say, Maharaj, like, I don't understand why we're not allowed to go into the temple. You know, I went through the gate, and, you know, I tell him the whole thing, you know. And he says, Haridas Thakur did not enter the temple. And I went like, oh. And he said, Sanatan Goswami Prabhu, he did not enter the temple. In my head, I was like, oh. He said, Rupa Goswami Prabhu did not enter the temple. Now my head was on the ground. And I was feeling so ashamed of myself. Like, what was I thinking? What am I thinking? And then he said, but Mahaprabhu is so merciful. What did he arrange for Haridas Thakur? Siddha Bokul and their Rup Sanatan, they stayed with him. And he said, so you will begin your parikrama at Siddha Bokul. And I had this little white diary, you know, and so I like write down Siddha, you know, number one, Siddha Bokul, and they would say like, and when he'd mentioned a place, he'd go, and you will pay the rickshaw 55 paisa. He like told me all these local prices, so that when I finally did it, when I would turn, like the rickshaw would go like, you gotta be kidding. You know, like, and so I'd give them something extra. But he told me every place I would go, the exact fare that I should pay to, and not one paisa more, you know. But I thought, these people are gonna be angry if I don't, you know, as a shaib, give them a little something, you know. But, so that Siddha Bokul, that he said that that would be our starting place. And we discussed this earlier with Srila Madhusudan Maharaj. And, you know, like, if that's all you said, like, oh, Siddha Bokul, Haridas Thakur, Rupa Goswami, you say, all right, then what's the next place we'll discuss? But that does not, the glories of Siddha Bokul are not limited to that. Someone, Madhusudan Maharaj, can speak about this, the Siddha Bokul itself. But here's what I want to say, is that, you know, first of all, Haridas Thakur is the Namacharya. Right? We have, you know, new recruits voyeuristically envisioning themselves as super servitors in the highest realm of the aprakrita of Krishna in Vrindavan, in that Leela, which we mentioned before. Mahaprabhu's whole, as Gurudev said, what is his tasting matter? Viraha, separation. Krishna knows everything about union and enjoyment. right? Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambrahma Sevyamanam Govinda Mari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. But he's come here to relish separation, the sort of peculiar ecstatic joy the heart generates, and the pramic heart generates in separation from Krishna. Bahire Bitare Anandamai Krishna Premier Adbhuta Charit. Kaviraj goes saying this is the Adbhuta Charit, the astonishingly wonderful quality or characteristic of Krishna Prem, particularly in separation. And Rupa Goswami, Pidabhir Navakala Kuta Katuta Garbhasya Nirvasano. Like he says, suffering the effects of cobra venom, having been bitten by the serpent of separation, while some being simultaneously bathed in an inconceivable nectarine shower of nectar. These two things simultaneously. Gurudev said, who can appreciate that? And that is Mahaprabhu's tasting matter. So, why did I say that? Because, the Siddha Bokul. So Haridas, and the humility of Haridas Thakur, always saying, I'm not fit to be in the group. Not even in the, he always like goes as far away as he can from even the circles of servitors of Mahaprabhu, Hare Krishna. Right? So, and sometimes we're told Brahma Haridas, right? That, from for the sin of stealing Krishna's calves, Brahma had to appear in a outcast family. Again, it's Leela, pastime. If that gets you into Gaur Leela. So anyway, so that Haridas, and what do we hear? Every day when Mahaprabhu goes to bathe in the sea, he stops by to see Haridas Thakur. Every day, Govinda, they bring Mahaprabhu's remnants to Haridas Thakur. And Rupa Goswami is staying there. Sanatan comes a little bit later. So, but really, Rup and Goswami and Haridas Thakur are staying there. So every day, Mahaprabhu comes to see them personally. Right? And we're told that Rupa Goswami, and what is he doing there? Haridas Thakur, he's the Namacharya, taking Krishna Nam all the time. Rupa Goswami is also taking Krishna Nam, but what is he doing there? He's writing Vidagdha Madhava, Lalita Madhava, other books. That's what he's doing at the Siddha Bokul. We're told on his way there, Rupa Goswami, these books and their subject matter, he's always thinking about them. And it's live streaming reality. This isn't poetic imagination or creation. So, but this is what's playing on the heart of Sri Rupa. And then we're told on his way there, he went initially with Anupam, and Anupam left the world. Says what? Ganga Prapti. That's the euphemism. He achieved the Ganga. That's the euphemism for that. Now Rupa's alone, and so he's thinking about this book, just one book he's going to write, and he comes to a town called Satyabhama Pur. Interesting name for a town. Satyabhama Pur, and there Satyabhama appears to him, and and you could say in classic Satyabhama style of what, she says, I want my own book. So don't make it just one book. I need my book, it should be a special one. And Rupa goes, all right, okay. Lalita Madhava Vidagdha, all right, yes, got it, But he's still thinking about that. Right? But and writing parts and slokas, they're coming, and because later Mahaprabhu will visit, and when he finds out about it, that he's writing, what book are you writing? Mahaprabhu says to him, don't make it one book, make it two. Rupa goes on, oh, Satyabhama said, oh. Like Mahaprabhu's confirming what she said. But anyway, still before it, so Rupa Goswami is there writing Lalita Madhava, Vidagdha Madhava, these, you know. But, and he, when he views Rath Yatra, he's Rupa Goswami, you know, Sa Chaitanya Kame Punarapi Dashor Yasha Tipadam, the eyewitness of the pastime. And what eyes? The eyes of Srila Rupa Goswami, right, to witness the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. So he notices that Mahaprabhu is how he's singing before Jagannath, like all the different things. But he noticed this one song, it's very mysterious, that when Mahaprabhu is singing, remember, he's in Radha Bhava Duty, he's enveloped in the heart of Srimati Radharani, like, so he's become her, and he's singing this one mysterious song. This girl, as Guru Maharaj said, it was a poem that was used previously to teach alankar, like poetics, and it's considered, you know, a so-called mundane song. Or in Guru Maharaj's words, again, I'm just saying because Guru Maharaj, he said, a nasty one. Like about male, boy and girl, teenage love. So that Mahaprabhu is singing this song about this girl recalling her teenage years and her, you know, the love of her life, that boy, where, you know, the first love of her life and the only love of her life, and how they met as teenagers on the bank of this river, and the way the moon, how romantic, it's a romantic song. And that song he's singing before Jagannath. And I can only think of Gurudev talking about like the simple-hearted devotee. You know, they're like singing, dancing madly in different kirtans. Nityananda Prabhu spun off in Divine Madness, Advaita, all these different groups. And Mahaprabhu's, they're singing the song, but they think nothing, they don't understand it, but it's Mahaprabhu. You know, like, and you go, you know, somebody say, that's an odd choice. You know? But there, no such thing, just everyone singing, dancing, chanting, but Rupa Goswami is there. And Rupa Goswami hearing this. And we're told, as Guru Maharaj says, Swoop, Sri Gaurana Swarupa Viditam, begins his mind, like the real reason for Mahaprabhu's descent and what's really going on, the inner current of these pastimes is known only fully to Srup Damodar. And that's Guru Maharaj's line, but it parallels the line from Rupa Goswami in the Chaitanyastakam. He says, Swarupam Bibranam Jagatatulyam Advaita Dvaita. Swarupam Bibranam means double meaning. Every line here, double meaning. Swarupa Bibram Jagatatulyam means the form of Mahaprabhu is incomparably beautiful. There is no parallel to the beauty of Sri Chaitanya Dev. And we can say this for the sake of this talk, more beautiful than Krishna. How is that possible? If you combine Radha and Krishna together. So, Swarupam Bibranam Jagatatulyam, but then what? Swarup also means Swarup Damodar. Jagatatulyam, incomparable in the world, what he knows. Therefore, Mahaprabhu telling Raghunath Das Goswami, I'm putting you under his care because what I don't know, he knows fully. It's not flattery. So that's Rup Damodar. He knows what this song is about. Only he knows that. But Rupa Goswami observing, hearing. So back at Siddha Bokul headquarters, Rupa Goswami writes this sloka. That one Mahaprabhu saying begins Yat Kumara Hara, etc. He writes this one, Priya Soyam Krishna Sahachari, etc. And it's on a palm leaf like that. Those who've seen them, scribed, with a little stilo or something, And then he takes it, it's a thatched hut, Siddha Bokul, where he and Haridas Thakur were saying, put it in the roof, slide that little bamboo piece into the room, and go bathe. Then Mahaprabhu comes there. Dandavat, Haridas, how is everything? Swoop Damodar with Mahaprabhu and sees the palm leaf sticking out of the roof. Hare Krishna. Pulls the palm leaf out of the room, starts reading this. Priya Soyam Krishna. Everything described in the song that Mahaprabhu is singing, Rupa is saying, who is that boy? That boy is Krishna. Who is that girl? That girl is Radharani. What is that river? That river is the Muna. What is that place? It is Vrindavan, the moonlight. Everything he decodes. It's like encrypted there purposefully so that Mahaprabhu, I told, hidden in plain sight. He's singing very confidential, expressing supremely confidential emotions at a public event, in a sense, this Rath Yatra. Not everyone can see, not everyone can hear, not everyone can understand. But Swoop Damodar can understand, and Rupa Goswami can understand. And Rupa Goswami, when Mahaprabhu, we're told, when he looks at it, he says, oh, the writing of Rupa is like rows of pearls. That's what he sees. What is his? He's saying pearls, beautiful pearls, one after another, after another, after another. Rows of pearls is the letters he sees before him. And then when he sees the content of the rows of pearls, right? He's saying this, how is it, only you and I know this. How is it possible that he knows? And Srip Damodar is saying, you must have revealed it to him. And Mahaprabhu goes, yes, actually, at Prayag, at that Dasashvamedha Ghat, 10 days, I gave Rupa everything because I could see he's the fit person. But then Rupa Goswami comes back from bathing, and we're told, what does Mahaprabhu do in response to that? He slaps Rupa and says, what are you doing? What is this you've written here? You're not supposed to write these things. You shouldn't be telling everybody this. But it's what we call a love tap. Because that is the job of Rupa Goswami, is to reveal all of this to everyone with the sanction of Mahaprabhu. Right? This Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Lalita Madhava, Vidagdha, all these books, etc. So then Mahaprabhu is saying, I'm wondering, like, well, what's in your book? Like, tell us some of the verses from your book. And so Rupa Goswami starts saying that. And it's interesting, there's one verse that's mentioned there about Rupa Goswami and why his qualification. Kaviraj Goswami quotes a verse saying, like, how the inhabitants of heavenly planets eat the stems of lotus flowers and it makes them more beautiful. So it's given as cause and effect. So it's saying, so if he's got this, then you're the cause of that. It's a mysterious verse, but that's the verse that's given to say why that Rupa, here's the effect of what Rupa is given. The cause must be the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But anyway, so Rupa Goswami telling that verse, some other verse says, And remember, Haridas Thakur is there, the Namacharya. And Mahaprabhu, this verse about the holy name is so beautiful. The next day, he calls all the devotees together. He wants everybody to hear it. Right? And think of it. What, you know, Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. Right? Nam Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamu Dukha Samanas Tan Namami Harim Pram. The last sloka of the Bhagavatam, Nam Sankirtan. Mahaprabhu, you know, Bahiranga Sangha Kori, Nama Sankirtan. And why? Nam Sankirtan. Through that, he's giving that taste of what he's experiencing. That's the safe way to distribute in general. And then through that, to bring into the zone. And Guru Maharaj said, the Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu as Navadvip is Vrindavan in distribution mode, as Gaura Leela is Krishna Leela in distribution mode. The Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan party is the Rasa Leela in distribution mode. Anyway, hearing this verse that Rupa Goswami wrote about the holy name, Mahaprabhu was so ecstatic and happy, he wants everybody to hear it. And so he wants Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. It's all, the word pariksha is used, to examine. And whether it's clear, is he examining Sarvabhauma and the others, or Rupa, or everyone? In other words, like hearing this, here's the test. Like this will be the litmus test of appreciation for this divine substance. What are you saying? So Rupa, please, you know, he asked him to say one verse, Rupa Goswami won't say anything. Guru Maharaj said, you know, hesitating, shy in the background. So one of the others has to say the verse. But then he said, all right, Rupa, come on, that verse about the holy name, please tell that to her. And they're like, that I can do. You know, they push him in the front, and he say, Tunde tandavini ritim vitanute tundavali labdiye karna kroda kadambini gutayate karnar budhe spriham cheta prangana sangini vijitayate no jane ki tadbi amrite krishneti barna dvayi. He's saying, I do not know how much nectar there are contained in the two syllables, Krishna. One Krishna, one word, Krishna, two syllables, Krishna. And it's in the play of Rupa Goswami, two devotees moving in Vrindavan and saying the other, I don't know how much nectar there are just in the name Krishna. How much? Tandavi means dancing. Saying, because when you chant the name, he's dancing on your tongue. Prabhupada used to say that. And you say, this is where it comes from. Tandavi vidhanute tundavali. Then you want to, one mouth is insufficient for tasting that sweetness. You want to have hundreds, thousands, millions of such mouths if possible. Karna, kroda, kadambini, gatai. And the ears, the holy name of Christ, so nectarine is that sound. The two ears are insufficient. The heart will express that it wants millions of ears to capture all of that nectar. And then sarvendriyanam kritim, every sense will express this in connection with Krishna. We're told elsewhere, the eyes, two eyes are insufficient for Shama, the Chandraguna Swarup of Shama Sundar. One will want to have millions of unblinking eyes. This is the verse. We're told. And then Haridas Thakur, he's the Namacharya. Right? He's saying, oh, you know, like Guru, Ore Baba, this is so beautiful. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Swarup Damodar, everyone, Ramananda Roy, they're all ecstatic to hear this one verse. And then it's like, then everyone can say, oh, now we understand why Rupa is the fit recipient of the full wealth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? And interestingly, when Mahaprabhu will say, And Rupa, tell us, who's your Ishta Devata? Because you have the Pratama Sloka, but then then Ishta Devata means you should in the beginning indicate who your worshipable Lord is. But then he said, Anarpita Charim Chirat Kornavatirna Kalo Samar Paitam Manutodvala Rasam Sabakti Sriyam Hari Purita Sundar Duty Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuritu Va Sachinandana Mahaprabhu. All right, that's too much. Let's go on to another verse. Why? Because that verse is saying, who's my worshipable deity? You are. What do you mean? Who's my worshipable deity? And like Mahaprabhu, oh, I forgot. But that's the influence of Yogamaya. The Mahaprabhu would say, and who is your worshipable deity? You are. Sachinandan. He doesn't say, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like, all right, I'll say it in code. Sachinandan, the son of Mother Sachi. And Mahaprabhu, Ati Stuti Kore Nindan. Too much glorification is another type of ninda, blasphemy. Anyway, let's go on to other. Maybe it's better if Ramananda and Swarup conduct the rest of the meeting, And then they bring out so many other things from the plays of Srila Rupa Goswami. So, Madhusudan Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj, I'm here at your service, happily listening.
All right. Is there something that you should add to this?
No, Maharaj, nothing for me to add, except for us all who are coming on the pilgrimage, Maharaj, for us to begin with Haridas Thakur and to know the etiquette of the pilgrimage to Jagannatha Puri, to know how Jagannath Puri, he makes the rules and by his will everything runs. This way, hopefully, we can live peacefully in the environment of Jagannath Puri without disturbing any of the residents, because it is the holy Dham.
Yes, and that's a good point, because we know Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, the time he meets Mahaprabhu and he's got blisters all over his feet, he's saying, why? Because he thinks needs jati, I'm so fallen and sinful, and maybe one of the servitors of Jagannath might brush up against me and get polluted. That's what I meant to say before when I said those new recruits voyeuristically envisioning themselves as super servitors. Then the super servitors who've descended into this plane are doing blistering hot sand to avoid touching the servitors because I might contaminate them. Haridas Thakur saying, going no further than seeing the chakra and the dome, as is Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. So, and we know just after this is the Sveta Ganga, this divine like kunda tank. I don't know, it looks like 100 steps or more descending. And that was the place of Ganga Mata Goswamini. I don't know so much of that. Oh, there we go, Sveta Ganga. Oh, with the water. But at certain times it goes, those steps go down, 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 down. Hare Krishna. But so Madhav Maharaj said, then you will go there. Then after that, to the house of Vasudeva, Sarvabhauma, Bhattacharya, where the Shadbhuj Murti is. And as you recall, we were saying that when Mahaprabhu runs ahead, because we're told that last, I forget what, 12 miles or how much it was, but it took him so long because of repeatedly crying, falling to the ground, chanting, singing, fainting, rising, it took a long time for him to finally get there. But when he did, and when he sees Jagannath and he sees Shama Sundar Krishna, he sees Krishna and his Tribanga Lalitam Young Sound, the threefold bending form, playing the flute. He faints. He starts experiencing Asta Satvika Mahabhav, the full-blown Mahabhav symptoms, ecstatic symptoms of Mahabhav, which are generally not even possible for a being of this world to experience. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya he's read about this. So as the temple attendants are wont to do, they say some pilgrim is fainted before the deities. They think, oh, so many sentimental people come, they cry, they do this, like they're gonna drag him out. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya got word, he comes and waves off the guards, and he takes some fine cotton and places it before the nostrils of Mahaprabhu, and the cotton threads, they vibrate a little bit, tremble. So you can understand there's still breath. He's in a death-like ecstatic state. The 10th stage of separation is death. So the devotees enter that stage, but they do not proceed because it would make Krishna unhappy. So they're in this on the verge state. And Sarvabhauma's men were told, and Chaitanya Bhagavat, it said like when you see the way ants, a group of ants carry something, that they're carrying Mahaprabhu, who's over 2 meters, in this stunned, almost catatonic, ecstatic state to this world. Remember, he's deeply in the upper world. This is not fainting the way we conceive of fainting conventionally. Just means no consciousness of the external world, but supremely conscious. And they carry him to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Meanwhile, Nityananda and the others coming. Hare Krishna. There we are. And Gurudev, on this, he liked to say, and we can mention it at different times, that he said, in Krishna, when we're in Vrindavan or other places, we're visiting memorials that were created. Like these sites were re-excavated after being virtually invisible or inaccessible for thousands of years in some cases. But Gurudev said, there are places in Puri, it's the actual place where Mahaprabhu went. Hare Krishna. So that's an astonishing thing to think of on this parikrama when we have the good fortune to visit them. But anyway, here we're told Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's Brihaspati, the guru of the gods. But Guru Maharaj gives him as an example of someone who's being upgraded to Gaur Leela. Like when I say, are there any examples of someone, entering? And he gives Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya as an example, one such person. And it's also charming that it's Sarvabhauma's he's the elder, first of all, Sarvabhauma means like is a title for someone who knows more than everyone in the world. That's what it means. He's the pundit of who? Prataparudra Maharaj. The plot thickens. So he is the court pundit of Prataparudra Maharaj. So there's no one more learned than he. And he sees the beauty of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Remember, 48 years total manifest pastimes in this world. First 24 years in Navadvip. as Nimai Pandit. The second 24 years, after taking sannyas, the first 6, he's sometimes in Puri, but then traveling South India, Vrindavan, you know, for 5, 6 years like that, but Puri regularly as well. When that conversation he had with Rupa Goswami about Vidagdha Madhava, it meant if you do the math, Mahaprabhu was 29 then. Took sannyas at 24. It's, I mean, what does it mean? But if you do the math, you see he was 29 at that. Saraswati Thakur does things like this. He knows these things. But anyway, so then for 20 years, Shivananda Sen gets all the devotees from Navadip. They do the Rath Yatra. It's mentioned that 20, right? And it's not discounting the ones before that. But then he stays in Puri. But then we know 18 years. Remember, Raghunath Das is there for 16. Last 12 is that forever with Ramananda and Swarup Damodar and the Gambhira maybe coming out for Rath Yatra. Like, it's really intensifying because Mahaprabhu is trying to, that's the Gambhira. And you see right there, the when we made Golden Volcano for Srila Guru Maharaj, which he asked me, you know, he said, of all the books, he said, which one is your favorite? And there was, I thought, oh my God, was there like a right answer to this? I know I'm going to say the wrong thing. You know? And I was like, I didn't know what to say. And Guru Maharaj, I'm saying it's like a blushing teenage girl. He said, Golden Volcano. He was like blushing. He couldn't conceal himself, and neither could he wait for me to answer the question. But when we did make that, Siddhanti Maharaj was in Puri at the time, and he sent this news that the seva was up for transfer. You understand? Of Gambhira. So, Srila Guru Maharaj sent myself and another devotee to go see if we could get it transferred to Chaitanya Saraswat Mad, or, you know. So I went there armed with, you know, I just presented the Golden Volcano of Divine Love to Srila Guru Maharaj. Originally it was Golden Volcano, Divine Lava. And then Guru Maharaj would always go, is lava love? And he asked me, so Mahayogi, we go to San Jose State Library, OED, Oxford English Dictionary, you know, like one volume like this is A. You know, and you have your magnifying glass, you know, and we look up, you know, love. Okay, you know, and it's interesting. You go all like the etymology of the English word loving, and the last one it said Sanskrit word lobha, which for those who know Sanskrit, no, that's not the word. Lobha means like, it can mean mundane erotic desire. Then you understand why it's love in English. But Guru Maharaj want to know if lava had some connection to love, but not. But in his divine mind, yes. Is lava love? And then he'd say, and these streams of lava, they're coming from the heart of Mahaprabhu in the forms of the Shikshastakam. Reason it became Golden Volcano of Divine Love. I asked him about the title, and he said, yeah, I'd put it that way, and we'll explain about lava in the intro. But anyway, so I have the Golden Volcano of Divine Love, and we go to Puri. We go there. And you know, these Gambhir Pandas are not the friendliest bandhus in the world, we could say. Hare Krishna. Need I say more? But somehow they take I give them the golden volcano, and they put it on Mahaprabhu's, where he sat. And they never do that. They might take something and put it, they take it and they put it there. And it looks like Mahaprabhu is sitting there in the form of the golden volcano of divine love. It was some kind of divine mystic experience sanctioned by Guru Maharaj. We were just, there. So there was Guru Maharaj's golden volcano of divine love. It was a wonderful, wonderful moment. But we come back empty-handed, And Guru Maharaj, but what he said that also, when he wanted to inspire me for this journey, as he said, and if you get it, he said, I will come there for the opening, like the transfer. And I was shocked because I may have mentioned before, just to say that I had asked, I did ask Guru Maharaj if he would come to America, if we could take him to America. And I know what the answer would be, but I would never forgive myself if I didn't ask, And that's when he told me, he said, his situation, he said, but like there, but he said, through Srila Govinda Maharaj, I will see America. And that came to be. But when he saw my reaction to his suggestion that he's going to come to Puri for the, the inauguration, and the look of horror on my face, because I'm saying like, he won't survive the journey. That's what I was thinking. And I couldn't conceal my, shock. And Guru Maharaj, seeing that, he said to me, and if I die on the way, at least I will have died going in the right direction. That's die to live. That's the spirit with which Bhaktivinoda Thakur got on the narrow gauge train to go to Krishna Nagar to discover the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. He realized he might not survive. He says that. We take it for granted. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying like, he might not make it to Krishna Nagar. He's very sick at the time. But he's saying, well, died going in the right direction. So anyway, that last 12 years there, but so 24, when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya sees the beautiful Nimai Pandit, remember, and Guru Maharaj's song, Lakka Lochanasu Premadama Stotram, where he said, tears falling from the eyes of million when the beautiful locks of Nimai Pandit are short, the devotees can't tolerate it. And on this point, because it seemed to me, by analysis, all these like supremely deep, the Banhagarbi, Banhigarba, Vipralamba, the pastimes, then I'm saying like, then how do we understand the relationship of Puri and Navadvip? And Guru Maharaj said, immediately, he knew what I was talking about, because we're always doing this comparative analysis with the implication of like higher or lower, this, those are not the best words, but you understand, comparative analysis. Guru Maharaj said, stalwart followers of Mahaprabhu prefer Navadvip. And the parallel, Navadvip like Vrindavan. That's why they can't tolerate Nimai Pandit. And when will Nimai Pandit return again? Take off and not tail, but and he's in dressed as the Maharaj, like the Gopi saying, oh, Krishna and Dwarka, he's dressed like a Raj, a Maharaj, a king. We want him in his Gopa vase. They're saying, now he's a Maharaj. We want him when he's Niyamai Pandit. They're not telling him he should give up sannyas. Yeah. I'm sorry I even have to say that, but is it clear what I'm trying to say? Yeah, okay. So when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya sees him, he's so beautiful. He's just saying, like, how is he going to keep sannyas? Oh my God, he's 24 years old and he's inconceivably beautiful. He's a sannyasi. What's your name again? Who'd you? Bharati. Oh. Anyway, I think I can save the situation. Like, that's Sarvabhauma. Like, I'm going to help, son. I like you. And you're Mahabhav. I read about it. And he's thinking, what a great devotee. And it's true. There is no greater devotee than Srimati Radharani. And now Krishna is before him like Radharani. And he's saying, what a great devotee you are. But the sannyas was a little premature, but we can correct that by upgrading you to a higher sampradaya and some Vedanta instruction. Because, you got to know Vedanta. How are you going to maintain the senses? We need to discuss things, get you on the right track. And Mahaprabhu, oh, you're so kind. Other devotees are saying, like, who is this Sarvabhauma? Like, what, no, it's affection. Can't you see he has so much affection for me? That's why he's doing this. Because devotees, they don't like it. But Mahaprabhu is defending Sarvabhauma. No, it's his loving, affectionate heart that makes it, not arrogance. No, maybe a little. So that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya begins his, I remember before that, I like to say that when he's still lying unconscious in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's living room, just think about it. Avatar, Sar, Gaur Avatar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lying in the depths of Asta Sattvika Vikar in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's living room. While Nityananda, the others coming, and Gopinath Acharya, Sarvabhauma start having a discussion, and Sarvabhauma saying, like, I've never seen devotion like this. He must be a Mahapuru, Siddha-puru, Gopinath Acharya. What? They call you Sarvabhauma? Like, you know everything except that who's lying before you is Swayam Bhagawan. Not any Bhagawan. Not any avatar. Swayam Bhagawan is in your living room. On the that you escaped you somehow. And that Sarvabhauma saying, what? Avatar? There's no, in the Kali Yuga, Tri Yuga, and he's doing his quotes. Reminds me of when someone was telling Gurudev about some fledgling Sahajya group and saying, Maharaj, they're quoting this verse and that verse and, to establish their position. And Srila Gurudev said, they are quoting and going to hell. Like, they can quote whatever they want. They're quoting and going to hell. Quoting. Nice Sanskrit, very nice Sanskrit, and going to hell in the process. That might be a little extreme in this case. But so Sarva, he's quoting, but not going to hell. He's going to heaven in the way this works. But then Gopinath, they're going back and forth, Yuga Avatar, this, not. Gopinath saying what we need to know. I'm saying this because we all need to know you. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangashka Parshadam. Yagye Sankirtana Pray, Jajanti Sumedasa, the Bhagavatam predicting. Bande Mahapurusate Charanadindam, the Bhagavatam. Chanakalo, Prahlad, as we heard recently, the Bhagavatam. In so many ways. And then Mahabharata, Vishnu Sahasranam, Suvarna Barna Hemango, Barandas Chandanagadi, Sanyasa Krishtamat Chanto, Nishta Shanti Parayana. And then he said, anyway, I'll quote, you quote your slokas, I'll quote mine. He's saying, but, it's not data transfer. This isn't a Gyanik contest. Atapite deva padambuja dvaya prasadale shanugrihi. Prasadale. You got to have some mercy to get it, to understand it, for it to be revealed to you. And Sarvabhauma like, oh, you've got the mercy and I don't. I mean, what's the evidence of that? Saying that I know Swayam Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, is lying in front of us on the floor and you don't. Like Guru Maharaj said, he had this one teacher who was in his 70s and Guru Maharaj was in his 20s. And again, Guru Maharaj is so pure, his heart, and he's saying like, his thinking, not in an envious way or a defamatory way or decrying, he's saying like the man had, 6 black belts in Vedanta Darshan, Darshan, the 6 different types of philosophical systems. And Guru Maharaj is saying like, with all of your knowledge, why don't you, Dante Nidaya Trinakam Pareor Nipatya, Kritva Chakago Hangi Tatsatam Branimi, Hey Sarva Eva, Sakala Vihaya Dura, Chaitanya Chanda Charane Kurutana Ragan, like Prabhupada, with a straw between my teeth, sir, you know so much, you're so learned. I have this one request, forget everything you know and turn your attention to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. So in a similar way, Guru Maharaj is saying, with all you know, why don't you use that for culture about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And to his credit, that man said, oh my boy, it is not a question of learning. You have to have a little mercy. Oh, like Gopinath told Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Prasada Leshanu Grihite Evahi. Anyway, and then Mahaprabhu awakes, and Sarvabhauma begins that instruction, and we're told, that he's on and on and on and on for hours and hours explaining, and Mahaprabhu not giving any acknowledgement. And Sarvabhauma is saying, like, let me know if you can follow what I'm saying. Hare Krishna. Like, nod. I know this is heavy stuff. It's really deep, philosophical, but just a little nod or something to indicate that you follow what I'm saying. And and they said Mahaprabhu also has a sense of humor. He said, oh, I understand Vedanta perfectly. What are you saying? And so I was like, what? This 24-year-old boy. Oh, and that really hurt. Then Sarvabhauma was saying like, okay, all right, how about this? 9 explanations of the Atmarama slok. Mahaprabhu was saying, that was impressive. Then he gives 18. Not touching on the 9 given by Sarvabhauma. That's when Sarvabhauma is going like, oh no, what if I was, everything starts changing. Then he sees who's sitting now with new eyes. He's seeing that person with the 10 million suns like effulgent, draped in saffron, Swayam Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, and this incredibly, strange yet beautiful transformation sitting before him. And he begins to realize the divinity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it says Ishvara Murti, and he shows the Shadbhuj, that the two, who was Ramachandra? That's the bow and arrow. Previously, flute. Who was Krishna? Now he has appeared as the sannyasi Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, and then of course, I think we're going to finish here for that. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he's converted, and this is great propaganda for Mahaprabhu and the devotees. They've converted the court pundit of the king of Puri, Prataparudra Maharaj. And we'll learn more about Prataparudra Maharaj later, but this is the way the pastimes unfold. Then what does Sarvabhauma do? He's the new recruit, the new devotee, the new bhakta. Sarvabhauma, in this world, he's the new bhakta. What does, Bhakta Sarvabhauma do? Writes 100 beautiful slokas. That Vairagya Vidyanija Bhakti Yoga, Shiksartam. Beautiful. And the next one? Yeah. All right, but ends in Mukti, he takes the Bhagavatam sloka and where it says, Jiveta yo mukti pade sadayabhak. Now he can't stand to hear the word mukti because it generally means merging. So he changes the Bhagavatam sloka to be so bhakti pade sadayabhak. And Mahaprabhu is going like, Sarvabhauma, Bhakti Sarvabhauma, I heard you're like erasing like slokas in the Bhagavatam and rewrite, slow down, Prabhu. And so I can't tolerate it. And he goes, let me explain to you some more. Okay, Mukunda, that Krishna is so beautiful that he makes mukti look ugly. So that's what I'm saying. No, but he's Mukunda. So real mukti means to be converted to, Mukunda Daita, to mo Mukundangri Nisheva Yeva. So put back that sloka. And so all the devotees, they have his 100 slokas. So, hey, did you hear what happened to what? The court pundit of Prataparudra Maharaj? He's now a madman for Sri Chaitanya Dev. Look what he's written. Hare Krishna. And we'll pick up from there tomorrow. Madhusudan Maharaj, you want to just cap this off?
Well, capping it off, Maharaj, I think from there we pick up mridanga and kartals and do what we do whenever we move from A to B, and come means to chant the holy names of the Lord, and we move from here and directly through the winding streets back to our base, our Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat of Jagannath Puri and the Sevak Bhavan, where most likely the devotees are staying. So we'll start from there tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think you have the groups of Kirtaniyas. Oh, yes.
Aviram Prabhu here and others. Tonight we'll sing Hari Hari, but tomorrow we're going to sing the Nitai Chaitanya Arati at the end of the program. So be ready for that tomorrow night. Okay? Oi Harai Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya.
Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Bhagavan Sri Bhakti Ranjan Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Ganga Govinda Sundar Guru ki Jai. Shri Raj Govardhan ki Jai. Jagannath Puri ki Jai. Rupa Guru Bhagavan ki Jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Bhagavan Sri Radha Sri Bhakti ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Bhagavan Damakunda Radha Sundar Guru Govardhan ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Navadvip Dham ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki Jai. Guru Govardhan ki Jai. Ganga Devi, Bhakti Devi, Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Om Vishnu Pad Vishnu Vishnu Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Jagannath ki Jai. Jai Shri Bhakti Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shri Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai. Devavindi ki Jai. Samveda Bhakti ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande.
Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. And also with us, Jai Shiva Bhakti Ashray Dandi Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shiva Bhakti Sevan Rishikesh Maharaj ki Jai. They are with us here too.
Yes, Maharaj. And they say Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai with Madhavendra Mohan and Keshavananda Prabhu. Seva Rupa Devi Dasi Dandavat. There's Krishna Priya at Govinda Farm. Hare Krishna. There's Dandi Maharaj, Dandavat Maharaj. Chaitanya Nitai Prabhu in Vrindavan. Hare Krishna. Madhavi Lata Dandavat. Sri Hari Prabhu, Brazil Dandavat. And Tonks. There's Ekadashi Didi Dandavat. Dhananjaya Das and Chaitanya Mai Didi in Rome, Dandavat, Hare Krishna. Nimai Priya Didi in Kiev, Dandavat. Lalita Priya Didi, Dandavat. Pandita, Rasamai Pandita, Dandavat. Sugandha Kanti in China, Dandavat. Praneshri Devi Dasi. Where is she? In Navadvip. Whoa, Dandavat. Yeah, incredible.
And she's our Spanish translator today, Maharaj.
Oh, okay. I hope everything went suave.
We heard it sounded very pakka.
All right, I'm sure, I'm certain. Brajalatika deity and Oris, Dandavat. Rupa Vilas Prabhu in the Philippines, Dandavat. Udaran Prabhu, Dandavat. Nityananda Ram Prabhu in Colombia, Dandavat. Jai Bhakti Seva and Rishikesh Maharaj, I assume in Abkhazia, Jai.
In Kiev, Maharaj, just now.
Oh, he's in Kiev. All right.
Yes.
Wow, very good. Excellent. Hare Krishna. All right, wherever he is, it's good.
Jai.
Yatai Vaishnavagan, Vrindavan, say some. Wherever the Vaishnavas are assembled, that place is Vrindavan. So he's in Vrindavan. Kum Diri, Dandavat, Hare Krishna. And Krishna Kanta Diri, Dandavat. Ananta Shesh Prabhu in Spain, Dandavat. Odar Jalila Diri in Ukraine, Dandavat. Kapananandini Diri in Mexico, Dandavat. Sandeep and Maheshri and Jandi in Greater Sukertal, Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Sajita, Ashapurna, Dandavat, Hare Krishna. And then, oh, Lalita Priya, Lalita Kanti, I mean. And Ananda Leela, Dandavat. They're alumni of Gupta Govardhan. Vijayanti Didi, Dandavat. Leela Sundar, Das Brahmachari in Kiev, Dandavat. Nimai Priya Didi, Krishna Priya. Indumukhi in China, Hare Krishna, Dandavat. Bhagavan Das Prabhu, Dandavat. Satyabhama Didi and Morelia. That's good, we had a Satyabhama. Right? Kali Kadambanana Didi, in Australia, Suleka Didi, Nityananda Das is here. Dhananjaya of Russia there, Brajabala Didi, Jamuna Didi here, Sankarshan, Sulakshana here, Damodar Das. I think, is that everyone? I think. Gaurachandra Prabhu, Dandavat. Huh? Ashapurna, I did, yes. Hare Krishna. All right. Vanchakalpatribhyascha kripa sindhu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.